Hi everyone, today I'm here to bring you an adaptation of a Tier 1 deck. It's none other than Haarpstrobiotics, sneaked up in Haarpstrobiotics. Now, I'm playing this in Haarpstrobiotics because I really appreciate that for the first time we now have an ambient ID that actually does something. This ID protects very well against deep R&D digs, medium digging, and Maker's Eyes, which is actually pretty incredible considering that this is what Haarpstrobiotics usually loses to. So I've reconfigured my influence suite. It's still the same old NEH fast advanced Haarpstrobiotics that you usually see. Now, I'm playing against Kate, and on my first turn, I draw into a hedge fund. But I decide to play both pair campaigns out. This is only doable in Haarpstrobiotics, and it's perfect because when someone doesn't know the kind of deck you're playing, they assume that you're just going to build lots of horizontal assets in one turn and expect that the runner cannot steal them all. So here, I actually bait him into wasting 2 clicks to run my remote when they are actually both pet campaigns that he doesn't want to trash. So that works very well for me. I actually wanted to install the Astro script here as a singleton, but I decided to install the third pet campaign instead. This will get my money rolling very, very quickly, and that will be very important because if he doesn't contest my pet campaigns, I'll be able to Biotic Labor and Res Tobus very easily, and that can really help against R&D lock. So back to Haarpstrobiotics. The entire point of Haarpstrobiotics here, I'm not building around the ID, don't get me wrong. There are no Explodapaloozas in this deck, no award baits, no whole Hollywood grids. This is pure Haarpstrobiotics, just making use of Haarpstrobiotics' ID ability to prevent you from losing 4, 5, 6 points of R&D through a Mega Dig. Here I make a mistake. I auto draw into Astro script. What I should have done here is to install both Astro scripts and force him to steal one while I can score the other. Since he didn't run my hand last turn, I'm just going to do it right now. I install 2 Astro scripts and play the sweet. So he can steal one Astro script, I don't really care, I'll score the other one. We'll both be on 2 points, but I'll be ahead because I have the Astro token, and that is so crucial when I'm playing Shipment from Sunset. You'll have to get clawed out at all times because I could fast advance a 3-2 anytime. So here I get very good news. Instead of running my Astro scripts, he legworks me, steals the NAPD, which means I'm going to get Astro script uncontested. So this is really, really good news. And because he cannot steal the 2 Astro scripts on the board this turn. So I'll definitely be able to score one of them when my turn comes over, and that should put me well ahead, considering that he had to spend 4 credits to liberate the NAPD. In the meantime, he gets his Proco out. So here, I suddenly realize it's probably not so good, because when I score my 1 Astro script, all he has to do is run the other Astro script, and he'll be up 4 points to 2. Uh-oh, that's not good. Sure enough, he does run the other Astro script, and I got caught red-handed here. This is very bad news. Suddenly, I'm behind. I'm 2 points to 4. Now, this is the worst thing. The other advantage of Haarpstrobiotics is that if you manage to rush against your opponent to match point, meaning that you have 5 points to the opponent's 4 or less, you can close out the game by installing 2 3-2 agendas through 2 Bills or 2 Astro scripts sneaker on the board. They can steal one, they can't steal the other, you score the other to win the game. So long they are not running Imp or Film Critic, you'll have the win guaranteed. That's another cool reason why you should play Haarpstrobiotics in Haarpstrobiotics. You can't do that in your Earth. Alright, so he's playing prepaid Kate, he gets his 2 prepaids out. In the meantime, I have ice, so I'm just going to set up my scoring remote right here because my time of installing naked agendas is done. It doesn't work anymore when your opponent is ahead of you on points. You need to start scoring agendas that your opponent cannot steal. So I'm really looking for my Sense City Grid here to allow me to fast advance. He still hasn't have installed an SMC or Cloud yet, so I'm pretty good. I just need to find the agenda or the Sense City Grid, and it's going straight in my remote. But he plays Faust. So this is not exactly prepaid Kate. It's using the prepaid economy skeleton with Proco, but it uses Faust, which takes very good advantage of Proco. So that is a very scary deck to be reckoned with. In the meantime, as I said, I'm looking for agendas, I'm looking for Sense and Grid, so I draw it with Jackson, and I find a breaking news. It's very tempting to slow advance the breaking news to burn Proco, but instead I find Gutenberg, and I think that can be pretty good R&D defense. So now he does something smart here. He knows that I draw up with Jackson without discarding anything, so he senses there are agendas in my hand, which is actually correct. But he misses the breaking news. Thankfully for me, I really needed to keep the breaking news in hand. I got lucky there. 60% chance to lose it, I missed it. He saws an SMC, and that has me worried. He can now bring Claude out. I draw into a pop-up window. Pop-ups are not very useful by this point. Yeah, they're not very ideal. Knowing that he's running fouls, he doesn't need many credits to break through my ice. He only needs cards. So I need to find ice that taxes his cards, like Toll Booth, and like Ichi, which I haven't drawn into yet. So I just continue heavily drawing with Jackson. As I said, I'm trying here to find either an Astro Script or a Sensei City Grid or a View to toss into my remote. I'm not getting that, which is a huge pity because every single turn I'm not attempting to score is a turn that I'm letting him set up. And once he's set up, he's going to do this kind of thing. He's going to make us eye me, and he'll be able to plow through pretty easily. Gutenberg poses somewhat of a problem to him, but he can easily shake it off. He says, tag me. So all Gutenberg does here is to slap him with one tag. And I know he's going to see 3 cards regardless. I can rest the Toll Booth very easily. And even though I still have 21 credits left in my bank, I unfortunately can't keep him out. I can't do anything about this. He just needs to pay 3 cards, and he'll see 3 cards of my R&D in return. So that's pretty bad. He can easily get to match point with this, and yes, it's just pretty awful. I considered for a second sacking Jackson here, but I decided not to. Instead, I'm going to let him steal whatever he wants from R&D. I know he can't steal more than one agenda. I got lucky here. He did not find any agendas of R&D, and I break R&D lock when his turn ended. So now I have the possibility of top decking an agenda, which I don't. Instead, I find an Enigma. Alright, so now it's time to score the breaking news. I toss it in there, wait for him to bring Claude out. No Claude, I'm going to score it, putting me up to 3 points. I think that was an okay decision. I needed to get the breaking news out of my hands sooner or later. But I think the biggest mistake here was that I forgot that he didn't actually shake the tag from Gutenberg. So he still had that one tag. What I should have done was to blow up Proco. Big mistake, not blowing up Proco. Especially against this kind of deck where they need cards and money to break through Toll Wolf and cards to use Faust, you need to blow up Proco. And me not doing that means that he's going to get a lot. His ability to get through R&D is increased twofold. So here I immediately blow up his Proco since he's not shaking the tag, and I install Toll Booth along with something in the remote. Hopefully I can bait him into running the remote here because this is how you win against Kate with Claude. You can't keep them out of R&D forever. That Toll Booth isn't going to last very long. I hope I can bait him into a run on the remote. Seeing that he plays quality time, I think there's a good chance he's going to run my remote, but no. Instead, he goes for the safe option, Maker's Eye. So this is pretty disappointing. Again, even though I'm flooded with credits, I can't do anything here. Maybe I should have put that Toll Booth on R&D instead of my remote. In any case, he does get through once again very easily. And he gets to see another 3 cards. The bad news is not the fact that he's seeing 3 cards and could find an agenda. He won't win this turn, that's for sure. The bad news is that he is locking my R&D, so I'm not able to get my agendas out, which is a huge problem. I need to find my agendas so I can start chucking them in my remote, or at least find the Sensei City Grids. He's pretty poor, so he cannot really steal NAPDs. That's the only point of consolation for me. But he does find a view and goes up to match point, which means that I probably lost the game. So here, once again, I break R&D lock. Since the view was the 3rd card on the top of R&D, I know there are no agendas coming. So I'm just going to draw into Sensei City Grid instead. Finally, 3 copies of that in my deck. I finally found one. So here, I pause the thing for a while before deciding to toss the grid into my remote. And with my last click, I take a credit, although here I really should be installing the Enigma on R&D instead. he is really rampaging through my R&D, and it's very easy for him to win at this point simply by running R&D every turn, which he is well capable of. Instead, he installs Origami because he wants a big hand size so that he can lock R&D every turn from now on. Again, this is not looking good for me. Is he going to make us eye me again? Nope, he draws a card. So that gives me more time to find my Astro Script, and I'm going to score it right here. Apparently he doesn't run plot, and you can see why. He's running 3 Origami plus Faust. That's 8 influence already. Yeah, he doesn't have the influence for plot. So I'm going to play Biotic Labor and double advance the Astro Script. I could use the Astro token here, but instead I'm just going to use Sensei Centigrade. This puts me on match point. I'm on 5 points, he's on 6. We both need 1 more agenda to win. And I have 2 Astro tokens, so it's very easy for me to win as long as I find the final agenda. And his entire job is to lock my R&D from now on so that I cannot find that final agenda. Let's see who will get there first. He gets first dibs on my R&D, and that's bad news. I can't do anything about this. Once again, I just have to hope he doesn't top deck anything. The problem is he is on 5 credits after breaking the toll move. 8 credits actually. So this means that he can steal the NAPD for the win. And this is why you want NAPD in this deck as opposed to Explodapalooza, which does absolutely nothing in this scenario. At least with NAPD, it forces the runner to have some form of economy before contemplating running. Otherwise, they can't steal NAPDs. He accessed the Cyberdex Virus Suite that I use for countering plot, but that's it. No agendas for him. I'm getting pretty lucky, am I not? But this is not something for me to celebrate because I need to still find the agenda. If he's blocking my R&D, I can't find the agenda I need. So instead, I draw into more ice. And that's fine because I do find a wraparound which counters Faust pretty hard. It means that you need 4 cards to get past wraparound, but I'm pretty sure he has some sort of solution to that with SMC. Still, I'm going to install your R&D to delay him because if he does have an if he used Cerberus Lady, it actually takes 6 credits to install with SMC, which puts him out of NAPD range. I also uninstalled Gutenberg because he is obviously floating tax and he doesn't care about resources, so no point stepping on more tax. Gutenberg has done its job here. It has completely shut him down from using Proco for a few turns now, and you can see that he's really hurting because of it. He is barely managing to make enough credits to make runs. The toll move is something he has to consider. And yes, I'm actually quite happy that I trashed the Proco earlier on. It is pretty effective. But now that he has installed the Cerberus Lady, I'm in trouble. That wraparound on R&D is suddenly useless. So I continue drawing, but I don't see the agenda I need. R&D is just getting thicker and thicker with agendas. There are 5 more agendas in R&D, a 16 card R&D. The next Maker's Eye is going to kill me. So I'm just going to place my best eyes on R&D, give it my best shot, and hope he doesn't have a Maker's Eye. Because Architect only requires 3 cards or a Mimic if he goes for the Mimic. The wraparound requires just 1 dog token, and Toll Move is not that hard to break, considering that he has a hand size of 6. So here, he clicks for 3 credits, which is sort of a mistake. I'm not sure why he clicked for credits here. I think he got very unlucky with his levy. He didn't see any money cards in his hand. I res the Architect. He has 2 options here. He can break Architect with Faust. He can bring Mimic out with SMC, which puts him down to 2 credits, which is not an option. So he has to break it with Faust. He cannot let the first subroutine fire because I'll simply install any agenda into the Sensei remote and probably win. But what he could do here was to fire the second subroutine of Architect. That is something he didn't consider and was a huge mistake. There's nothing that I can really retrieve with the second subroutine of Architect. There's nothing worth if he let me fire the second subroutine of Architect, I think I would simply have installed the Jackson Howard so that I can break R&D lock. But instead, he breaks with Faust and jacks out because he was afraid of the second ice, which was a lowly wraparound. So this gave me time to draw it with Jackson. I found 2 more cards, no agendas. So here I got so desperate, I played my Biotic Labor, I Jackson drew again, and finally I find the 3-2 agenda I need to win the game. and I can win with just one click because he didn't deny my sensitivity grid. So I went from 0 advancements to 3 in one turn to win the game. Very, very close game that I didn't deserve to win. Yes, you heard that right. I didn't deserve to win the game because I won not through my own skill, but due to a slight misjudgment by my opponent on that final R&D run. He could have gotten through the server, he jacked out, and it was because of that I was able, or rather, he basically killed his chances to win by jacking out, even though he wouldn't have seen any agendas in that particular, with that particular R&D setup. Anyway, here I would like to focus my summary on the comparison between Haarpstrobiotics versus Netrunner in terms of playing Haarpstrobiotics. With Haarpstrobiotics, I find that it's harder to draw into agendas. He wasn't the only one looking for agendas from the top right R&D. I was digging so furiously for them as well, and they just didn't come up. I think I spent, at 2 if not 3 turns trying to dig for agendas, and when that failed, I could only ice out R&D, take more money, and hope that he doesn't top deck them instead. I am definitely considering having 2 fast tracks instead of the current setup of 1 fast track and 1 DBS, because fast track actually allows you to break R&D lock, and it's very difficult to destroy, especially if you're up against Kate. And in that particular scenario, if he doesn't run Claude, as that was the case with my opponents, if I had a fast track, I would be able to immediately fast track an agenda and score it because I had 2 Astro tokens. It's very easy for me to score stuff. What else is good about Neh that Haarpstrobiotics doesn't provide? Well, Haarpstrobiotics does. I said that Haarpstrobiotics protects against deep decks. Well, that didn't really happen this game. Maker's Eye means so much, but I don't think there was an occasion where he saw 2 agendas off the top of my deck in one Maker's Eye. The chances of that happening is actually quite low, regardless of whether you're playing Haarpstrobiotics or Netrunner. While it definitely prevents the runner from stealing 4 points and winning right off the bat of it. And the other problem is that in the Maker's Eye deck, i.e. prepaid K, they are probably also running from Critic, as was my opponent, and that completely blanks out Haarpstrobiotics' ability to prevent instant win by top decking lucky top deck of agendas. Also, Haarpstrobiotics has 2 less influence than Netrunner. The 2 fewer Eli's were actually, I do miss them. I'd rather have Eli's instead of flimsy ice. And as you saw, Gutenberg didn't really pose much of a threat, R&D threat. Sure, I got the Proco, which was actually pretty huge, but after that he just floated tags. I had to trash the Gutenberg because it was useless. This game it didn't matter because my opponent was playing Lady. This is why I cut Eli before cutting Architects or Ichis, because Eli is less and less a good piece of ice right now. It's definitely on the fall. It's still pretty good against Enox, but I need to fortify my Kate matchup. And this is one thing that Haarpstrobiotics actually excels better at than the Hub. So it is better than against Enox than Kate, because Enox typically don't run from Critic, so that's not something you have to worry about. Enox typically win through medium decks, which you can actually ignore. The only problem with medium decks is that it prevents you from winning because you won't top deck an agenda. But if you have fast track, and you can just fast track the agenda you need and chuck it in your scoring remote and fast advance into victory. So it's actually very good against Enox in my opinion. Also, you typically don't have to worry about plot, and even if they do run it, it's pretty easy to purge since they have fewer clone chips and levies to recur it. So all in all, Haarpstrobiotics actually has a much better matchup against Enox than Kate, which is why firstly I think it's good in the current climate where everyone's playing with Enox, and secondly, I can afford to drop the Eli's because Eli is good against Enox but very bad against Kate. So I don't think I need the Eli's that much now that I'm pretty good against Enox. Also, unlike Near Hub, you don't really need to bother with HQ defense. A big problem with Near Hub is that whenever you create a new remote, you're inviting the runner to legwork you because there's always that small chance that you have an agenda in hand. Good players will know that and will hit your HQ from time to time. With Haarpstrobiotics, you don't have to worry about that at all. You only need summon agendas when you are ready to score them, either through fast track or by manual drawing or rejection. And that's exactly what I did. You saw me clicking for credits a couple of times during the game. It's not because I needed more credits. I was flush with credits this game. I just didn't want to draw cards because that would invite him to make H2 runs, which would cost me the game. So that's Haarpstrobiotics in Haarpstrobiotics for you. It's worth a shot. I still think Neh is better overall, but it's worth playing to throw your opponents off. Thanks for watching. Happy net running. Goodbye.